What's up, everybody? My name is GN. Welcome to Funker Tactical. Today, I got a story about that time I pissed off a retired law enforcement officer of over 20 years working primarily in narcotics and SWAT. Go! Now, what was my offense? Well, I think it's something that many of us are familiar with, and that is just running our mouth on the internet, typing too fast with our keyboard. Now, I'm not making any excuses for myself. I was 100% trying to generate what may be deemed as controversy.
How dare you?
See, I've made a lot of mistakes making videos on Funker Tactical, and in the past, I tended to really emotionally attach myself to the content that the people that I work with are presenting. Now, in this case, it had something to do with the Bladed Grappler series, where Craig Douglas was presenting something that was contrary to what I was being presented through this series, and I thought I would reach out to Craig and ask him a question. I'm not making any excuses for myself because back then I didn't really realize that I got a step correct.
Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil.
So I hopped on my keyboard, I messaged Craig Douglas in a public forum, which I probably shouldn't have done.
This is all wrong.
And what I really wanted at the time was controversy.
With your empty words.
Generating controversy is a social currency out in the internet land. If you can generate a passionate discussion between two subject matter experts, then the camps from both of those sides will jump on. It will boost up engagement, views, likes, shares, all of those things. Now, I'd like to think that I've come a long way since then. I'm a little bit more tactful about how I present these questions when I have them. The big difference between then and now, guys, is that now I'm not just a cameraman, I'm not just a director, I'm not just an editor, I have become a student. And so many of the questions that I pose to other subject matter experts come from a genuine place of wanting to understand these concepts, tactics, techniques, what have you, for myself so that I can better represent these concepts on video for the community. Now, what ends up inevitably happening, because the community is very small, is that there will come a time where I will be face to face with the person that I've just trolled. Now, let me tell you this, I have a long history of doing this shit in the past. I tend not to do these things today, but misunderstandings still happen. Back to the moment where I actually got to be face to face with the man that I trolled in the past. Now, because I'd gone through this evolution from becoming just a content creator to a student, I knew I had to come correct and I had to humble myself, but I didn't know how I was gonna react. To be honest with you guys, I was kind of shitting my pants. I was scared, you know? I mean, I didn't want to have this confrontation with Craig Douglas, but it was the right thing to do. And not only that, as a student and for selfish reasons, I don't want to close off doors to valuable information that may be of use to me and of the community. So guys, I hope you watch this entire interview with Craig Douglas. I hope you internalize some of the lessons that I've shared with you here and maybe have a moment of pause before you type something up really quickly on the internet, or run your mouth without actually examining the totality of the situation. This industry is very small, and by becoming trollish or even being a little bit too arrogant with how we present our preconceived notions, our ideas to a subject matter expert who's gracious enough to share their stuff online, I hope you give yourself pause. I hope you consider being a little bit more tactful, a little bit more respectful. This industry is not, this industry is like no other. In very many ways, this industry is old school. In very many ways, this is a handshake industry, a face-to-face, meet space industry. And so many of the social media rules or acceptable norms that may be okay in other spaces is not okay in the tactical community. And so I hope you guys learn from my lesson. I hope you watch this interview from beginning to end. It really gets into a little bit about who Craig Douglas is and why he chose not to respond to my trollish commentary, but it spread and he was aware of it and it got him annoyed. And so I had to deal with that. So here it is. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure to hit it. I'm gonna do the social media thing, right? Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Funker Tactical. Make sure you go out and do a little bit of research about who Craig Douglas is and what ShivWorks does. he might be somebody that you get to meet face to face one day, as I did. Here's the video. Enjoy.
Good.
Yeah, so
All
yo,
right.
Craig, man, why don't you respond? Why aren't you available on social media when your videos are out there?
Right. So I struggle, man, with time and time management. Right now, I've reached pretty much the apex of scalability, and I'm on the road a minimum and have been for the past decade. You know, the brand is, and I've been traveling 19 years now. Next year is the 20th year, but this is my 10th year of doing it full time. And for the past 10 years, I've spent a minimum of 40 weeks on the road. So, you know, when I come out for a 2.5 day weekend and I'm putting in 11 to 13 hour days, you know, the people that have the most engagement from me are the people in need space, right? And that's where I spend most of my time and my energy. And while that's going on, right, in the ether of the internet, Facebook messages, little snippets I post, because people tell me I need to be engaged on social media, so I struggle with that. But I'll put some content out there, and I've learned over the years to be careful in how I do that and try and offer context and explanation as much as possible. But, you know, you struggle with someone who does just a drive-by kind of shitty comment. You know, there's that initial reaction, and you want to snap back at them, but at the same time, you know, and sometimes things are deliberately provocative. You know that there's no answer to that. So I've gotten better, you know, in my 50s about how I respond to that, or if I respond at all. But a lot of times there are other people that the only connection I have with them is in the ether and on the internet, Instagram, DMs, things like that, email, and they'll ask a genuinely detailed, respectful question. Sometimes it's a criticism, but it's usually offered very altruistically, and they want to know. They say, hey, it looks like to me that I can't imagine a situation that you'd give your backup in a car as a BJJ practitioner. However, I can see this kind of works, but why does it work? So how do you answer those questions? So those kind of questions, which I really enjoy, that kind of constructive, positive engagement, requires time, energy, and effort. And a lot of times, you know, 15, 16, 17 days. Last month, you know, out of 32 days last month, I spent 4 in my own bed. You know, I did 4 open enrollment classes and 2 government classes that were closed for clients. And that's just a lot of work. And I literally hopped from venue to venue. I went from Nebraska to Hawaii to Virginia Beach with a Gov client, Virginia Beach to El Paso with another government client, El Paso to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you know, and then I'm out here. So that's a lot. So when I get home, you know, I got a pile of laundry. I want to sleep in my own bed. And sometimes I just don't want to talk about this shit, you know, because I've been doing it for a long time. So I try and rest up, take care of myself, be kind to myself, and then give people those answers. Because ultimately, you know, everybody's a patron, and when a person reproaches me that way, I want to respond. You know, what I would ask of people is that they be patient. You know, I'll sure try and respond. If I don't, because I've literally got a day home, I don't mean to ignore the question. I'm not trying to, you know, think I'm above questions by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of it is just time management and scalability, which I struggle with constantly. I struggle with, you know, my own training, keeping myself healthy, having a meaningful relationship, you know, with a woman outside of the student base. You know, I've got a couple of failed marriages because of my, you know, my passion. That's not exclusively because of that, but, you know, the road show, was that definitely a part of it? Yeah, 100%. So, you know, it is what it is, guys. And what I would ask from the community is, you know, be patient with the engagement. I'll sure try and give it to people when I can. And if I get, you know, a couple of weeks off, that's usually after I rest up for 2 or 3 days, try and pick up something heavy in the gym. try and have some kids that fight in the UFC beat the shit out of me on the mat and stuff like that, and eat some healthy food, then I'll get back on the computer and I'll start answering questions and re-engaging with the community. So yeah, man, that's it. You know, I think if everybody interacted in meat space or interacted in internet space like they do in meat space, then I think that's what I try and do. I try not to say anything online that I wouldn't say to a person in a way that I wouldn't say to a person. So I think if people remember that, then and not try and do puerile shit, like just be deliberately provocative. You know, everybody's everybody's a struggling, a flawed human struggling for grace, me included. So I always try and be gracious when I'm interacting with other humans. I'm no better than anybody else, and I try and remember that. Not believe my own press or my own hype, and answer a question that's offered genuinely.
Craig, thank you very much.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Let me take this opportunity. I may cut the video out there.
Sure.
TLDR, don't take it personally, right? But public apology for my contribution to the fucking nonsense.
Dude, we had this discussion, and we met. You were very gracious. I was very gracious. We talked about other things. Got a feel for each other. We talked about all kinds of things. Right. And
Yes,
we have had way more in common than we thought we did in a lot of ways, man. So we're both in interesting places in our personal lives, and dude, I certainly would not. I certainly have made every possible mistake a person can make in personal and professional relationships, and I'm trying to do better. So apology accepted.
Yes.
Thank
you, my brother.
Not required, but appreciated. And dude, I feel good about this.
Oh, you shit. This fucking sucks, Craig.
And get out here and train with Craig over at ShivWorks. Oh man, thank you again.
Thank you, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Dude.